Hi guys, so today I'm going to do what I've been promising or talking about for a very long time as far as using a bunch of the different mediums that Crafter's Companion has. I have pretty much, I would say most of all their lines, like their Spectrum Noir markers, which I just saw on HSN yesterday. They came out with some new ones called Tricolor. So instead of you going and picking out 3 purples or 3 greens for your shading when you do your alcohol ink marker, coloring, they're already in the little tube. They're all together, which is kind of weird because I figure, it's going to be a very small reservoir for each color. But she says that they packed, I want to say 2 mLs, 2 milliliters, maybe 10. I can't remember the number in each color. So it's going to be a while before you fill up you have to re-ink them. And then they are going to sell re-inking tubes for it. But anyway, so right now I'm going to use the old school Spectrum Noirs. Well, these aren't really the old school because they had another one before this. So this is like their 2nd generation. I have tons of their stamps because I figured they'll look the cutest trying different things out with some of these. And I don't know which ones I'll pick, but as you can see, I have lots of them. I mean, these are all the fairy, unicorn type stamps. Maybe I'll try to replicate some of the things that they try on HSN because, you look at it and you're like, oh, okay. And then, never get it going because it gets intimidating. But I have those. This is just Nina paper. I do have Crafter's Companion paper, but I'm not sure where it is right now, so I'm not gonna. And I'm not picking out specifically watercolor paper either, just because I'm not gonna go look for it in this craft room. So this is Nina, heavy cardstock paper. I just cut it down to card front size. My daughter just woke up, so that means I'll probably have to leave this until tomorrow. Okay, sorry about that. I got her back down, but we'll see. I am going to be stamping in VersaFine and Memento. Memento will be for the alcohol inks and things of that nature. And VersaFine will be for anything water-based that I'll be using. I also have, oh, you know what? Is that true? I have their Finesse, and Finesse is for water-based things. So maybe I'll use their Finesse one just so we can try out more of their products. But anyway, I have the little blending tools. I have the Spectrum Noir Gamsol with the whole kit here. And this is for the color pencils. You do not have to have this, but if you want to blend the color pencil better, you're going to need something like this. So it doesn't have to be their brand Gamsol blending solution, and then the little nubs and all that kind of stuff. I only picked that up because I think it was like 19 bucks, and I was like, well, might as well. So I have everything. I have their Aqua Blend pencils, which are basically their watercolors. Okay, and I have them in earth tones and vivid hues. And these are the pencils. They have tons of these. So I have florals here, and I think I have classic or something like that. I forgot what the name of the other one is, but this is the florals, and this is what I'll be using that Gamsol for. These are different from the Aqua Blend. These are not watercolors. These are like your good high quality color pencil. Ooh, I put things to the side too far. Okay. I was grabbing stuff as I needed it. I do have a few of their blending inks, the Harmony line, and you can color things just with this, so that's why I went ahead and picked these up or brought these into this. So I have their yellow colors, the lemon series or whatever they call them. I have the pink, pretty pinks, regal purples, and summer yellows. So that's 3 gradations of each color, but I'll probably be using like the darkest of each color. Sorry, I was getting things out of drawers and leaving them here and there. I pulled everything out. I do also have some of their metallic wax, which is kind of like the Pebeo gilding wax, but I have these fun colors, so we'll try this out because I haven't tried it, and that I probably want to try with some embossing, so I'll probably emboss one of these pieces of paper just so we can use it there. Here's that alcohol-proof dye ink, the Finesse. I also have their Spectrum Noir metallic ink. This is like liquid. So these are interesting. I haven't tried them out yet. I haven't even opened it, but we'll try them out. Why not? I have some Sheena sparkle pens, which I think I've tried her sparkle pens. I don't know, but they activate with water, I believe, these two. So just kind of fun. We'll try it out. And I have their Aqua, Spectrum Noir Aqua pens, which I don't even know if they really use this much anymore. It doesn't seem like they push them as much as they used to. But I have that too, so we'll use those. I have some water spritzers. I have some water. I have just brushes because you want to move some of the water around, so you need a brush. I have these water pens from AliExpress. I'll try some of these out because we need something to move the water or to, you know, with the watercolors and different things. So I'll probably use this one. It's not very fine. Let me see. I'll probably use this one. It's like more of a fine line. And let me clear some of the stuff off and we will get started with something. Okay, so like I said, I'm not using specific watercolor paper, but you should, obviously, if you're using water products. Not just for stamping, like obviously if it's a water-based, it doesn't matter, but if you're going to be spreading color. But I do have this plaid, one stroke Donna Dewberry, 1-inch brush, flat brush. I'm just going to dip it in some water. I'm not sure if you have to have it wet to start with, but I'm just dipping it in water just in case. And let's try out these guys because I'm going to have to let it dry before I stamp over it if I was to use it as a wash, like in the back. Or not even as a wash, but just as something to do. So let's see. These are the metallic set. I think I got the fashion color set too. I forgot what they called it, but it's like pinks and purple and other colors. But let's try this out first. So this is the inky one. It is liquid. And I'm probably just going to use one, to be honest, because I don't know what to do with it. So let's just open this guy up. I can hear that it has some kind of... It's just liquid. I was trying to hear if it had like ball bearings or anything to get it going. Silver. And that's all it says. So let's... Ooh, let me open this up. I put down my tonic glass. I know Crafter's Companion has a lovely one with purple, but I did not get that before I got this one because it's always selling out. And, you know, I don't need to buy both of them, so even though I would love to. Alright, so I'm just going to dip this in some of this ink. And she says you don't need too much, so I'm barely dipping the tip of my brush. So you can see that. It's pretty. All I'm trying to do is just get some of this down because what I'm going to do is use some water. I don't even know that you need that much. Hopefully you can see that. Pretty cool. And you're supposed to be able to blend it with the other colors. I just don't know that silver blends into gold very well. Look at all that came off of it. Pretty cool. So I'm just going to close that up. Now you can let that set up a little bit, but once it sets up, I think it's water fast. It's like water fast, you know. So what I'm going to do is take a little spritzer bottle and spritz it and see what happens. Because she said it's water reactive. And they always spray so much whenever I watch their shows, but like I don't want to spray too much, but at the same time I kind of want to get it moving over here. Oopsie. No wonder I wasn't holding the bottle quite right. It was squirting everywhere else but my paper. I do want to get it going a little bit there, like I said. Like here where it's kind of a harsh line, I don't like that. So I'm just going to let it sit and do its thing. Let me try to move that color a little bit more over there. Just try to get rid of those harsh lines. Okay, well I'm just going to let it sit and dry. I'm not going to use my heat tool on this. I'm just going to put it to the side. Like I said, I would rather that little line get a little more obliterated, so I might score a little bit more, but I just hate to waterlog this paper. You know? But that's okay. It's not the prettiest thing. Like I said, those hot lines are really harsh. But there it is. Okay, again, this is not the kind of paper you would want to use for this. But let me clean this up. We're going to let this dry and then we'll stamp over it in just a little bit. Okay, next we'll try out Spectrum Noirs, even though I've used those many times and we all kind of know how that works. But I have their Finesse Alcohol Proof ink. I'm telling you, inks, have you ever had ink thing, if it closes up good, dry out? I have close to my heart inks that are at least 10 years old and they're still fine. They stamp really well. I don't think I've ever, maybe those cheap dollar ones, like I said, if it doesn't, you know, close well, but I don't know. Actually, you know, I didn't want to do the, well, you know, okay, let's go ahead and do that. I was going to do something else and I just realized I grabbed the stamps for the something else, but now since I have them, I will do the Spectrum Noir colors, like I said. And we'll stamp these little guys. I don't know why. Because I have, I pulled out green and purple, like flowery type colors. So even though this is kind of weird, we'll still use this. I grabbed everything that had fairy that last time they came on. And then the last time they came on, each then they had like a fantasy set that had more like unicorn and stuff like that. So I grabbed all those too. Oh, I hate these kind of stamps when they're really stuck on. Let me bring this closer to me and not tear this thing. And of course, the subsequent times you take it off, it shouldn't be that hard to get off of there. I have their little rocket blocks. This thing won't stick together. And you can build up a scene. I'm just going to do this one, I think. Well, maybe I'll do this one plus a little something else. This is not sticking, it like is repelling it, which happens, right? Sometimes with stamps, I can see that's repelling it really badly. Let me try to stamp this off a few times, meaning just on a scrap piece of paper, and see if I can get this to stamp better. Okay, it's not getting that much better, which is kind of a bummer. I've used their stamps, but not really that much, so they remind me of AliExpress stamps where they're kind of cheesy. You really have to work with it. A lot of people say to put, to go ahead and rub over it with like a nail buffer or nail file, just to kind of make it a little more gritty, or use Stays On first, because Stays On will stick to it, and then Stays On, hopefully after that, other inks will stick to the Stays On layer, basically. But you basically just want to get rid of that dispersion layer that's on there, or whatever, that tacky layer that they come with. And she usually brings this to the stamp, but to be honest, if I ink it up that way, it just seems like it's just going away. So what I'm going to do is ink it up this way. And it seems like it's getting more of the ink that way. Okay, I'm just going to stamp this wherever. Can you see that? It's all bubbly. Ugh, I hate that. Still an image. Yes. Is it super crisp? No. But there it is. Okay, I'll probably stamp these little mushroom guys down here somewhere just to make it a little bit cuter. But for now, we'll just use some Spectrum Noirs real quick. And you guys know how to use these. Basically, you start off with the lighter color, then work into the darker color, and then come back with a medium color. And then you can go over the whole thing again with the lightest color. So I just have these green ones. I don't even know if these are supposed to go together. I have DG2, DG3, DG4. And I'm going to use the small side. These guys have a broad, big old thing I've never used. It's way too big. It's like a Sharpie. And the lighter, the smaller side. So this is DG2, and I'll do the... This one's going to be hard to tell because there's not too much that I can color in. I'm just going to go right down the middle with that light green. And then I'm going to take the darkest one, which is DG4, and just go into areas that are going to be darker, obviously, like in here. And sometimes when it's a small spot, you don't have to lay down that much. Just kind of, you can just go in there with just a little bit. I might even make this part green. So let me go in that dark area. And you're just scribbling it down. Let me go back with the light one on this one because I didn't use any light on this one here. Obviously I just colored outside the lines, sorry. And then you're going to go in with your middle color, DG3 in this example, and color in the rest of whatever you kind of missed. Kind of, what you're trying to do is pull the dark color in. This is probably the least item that I can do that with. There's not much of it, right? Just staying on the outside edges. And like this little guy, just right here in this middle part, pulling that dark color into that lighter color at the tips. And then you can go back with your lightest color and just kind of go over the whole thing. You'll see it better when I do the purple. And I'll probably just fast forward that part and maybe just do one section just so you kind of see. But yeah, so these alcohol markers, they should blend. I think that's pretty good. So let's try one of the purple ones. I'll just do one. I'm not going to fast forward it. Obviously the little window needs to be something else. But basically you're going to come in, and this is supposed to be purple, but it's very pink. And as you can see, I just went outside the lines there. You're just going to lay down the color. For this one, I just did the whole thing. And then you're going to come in with your darkest, which is LV3. I used LV1, this is LV3. And just kind of go in wherever you think. I'm just kind of following the shading there where you just colored in. I'm not real good at this. And then LV2. And that one again, you just kind of get right into that dark color and pull it into that lighter. I don't even know if these colors, seriously, they seem like they're not even in the same color family. But here we go. I'll be looking forward to getting those tricolors. When they come in, I'll definitely review those for you guys. And then you're going to quickly come back with your initial one, the lightest color, which was LV1. And again, just kind of in circular motion so that your coloring doesn't look too preschool. I'm going to pull that in. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure that that pink really goes with that purple, but there it is. Okay, so those are your colors, and with alcohol ink markers, you always want to put so much color down that it comes out the back. That's basically the goal, because that's how saturated you want your paper with your color. So I'll do the little window separately, and those are the Spectrum Noir alcohol ink markers. And next what I'm going to do is use this little cutie over here. The one I was looking at initially. These are water reactive dyes, okay, the Harmony ink pads. So I'm going to stamp this image with the VersaFine, I believe. Is that the one you want to use? Yeah. And then we're going to go over it with tons of those Harmony inks and kind of blend that in and see how that goes. So I'm not super impressed with their stamps. I'm sorry. I don't know if I've just never used them before, or I just imagined they would be this way because of the way they look. They're not photopolymer, obviously. These are just like, I guess they're acrylic. I don't know. Let me get this off of here, and I'm going to go ahead and prime that stamp because I have a feeling this is going to be a really bad one because that whole section has to be dark, right? So if it doesn't stick to it, it's going to be bad. Let me see. VersaFine might do a little better though because it is, I think it's a little bit higher viscosity. See, that one does want to stick a lot better than... We might be okay, guys. We might be okay. That's interesting how their dye didn't want to... The other ink didn't want to stick. Okay, hopefully I don't mess this up. I'm just going to lay this little image down right here. You're not supposed to rock it, but I did. Even though this is rock a block, you're not supposed to rock them. But they're not too bad. Just for what I want to do right now. I'm going to take a few other stamps and kind of just stamp them around just so I'm not wasting time, and I'll be right back so we can use the Harmony inks. Okay, really quickly I want to show you just kind of how I do this background, and I've been watching Sarah do this forever. I did the same thing kind of with the grass. Let me back up a little bit. I just got the same, from the same stamp set, this little berry thing, and I'm dipping it into my stuff here and just making it look like it's coming down from wherever. And before I ink it up again, I'm just going to do like second and third generation stamping. Okay, so it's just like these little berries coming up from the top, hanging down. They have a really cute like willow looking one too, which is adorable, but for right now that's what I'm doing. Clean that up. Okay, now I've never done this before, so we'll see what happens. I do have glycerin here. I hate to use the glycerin because if you don't have glycerin, then what's the point? But basically you can dip with the smallest amount of glycerin. I thought I had some. I had this from my soap making days, and you can see it's only $4 for this huge bottle, and it came from Hobby Lobby. I probably bought it for $2. So you can use glycerin. I'm going to try to make this work without it, which is probably a bad idea, which is what I hear, but we'll see. And then I have the blending tools. So you're going to switch out the colors for each one. So right now I'm just going to leave this one here, but it's a little bit crooked. I'm going to use this with the darkest yellow in that kit, which is Honey Pot. And then I got the darkest purple in the purples, which is Damson Wine. And then I did not get the darkest pink because the darkest pink looks more red to me. It was like Plum Jam. This one's called Fuchsia, and I love fuchsia, so I'm going to use this one. And I just lost the scissors. Here we go. I should open these up. Sorry, I was opening... Actually, they have a little tab here. Perfect. Okay, so the first one I'm going to use, though, is this one. I'm making such a mess. I'm just, like, throwing the things on the floor that I'm not using. Is our yellow. Eesh. Oh, hopefully I'm not going too deep with this. So what you would normally do if this was... well, actually, the glycerin does help you, but you kind of have to get this on your pad here and work it in, okay? So right now I'm just dipping it in here. It looks kind of dry. I'm thinking this was dry too, this alcohol proof one, because it really isn't sticking to anything. So I'm like, maybe the pad is dry. I don't know. Oh, let's try. So you're just going to go, well, you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to go in a circle here in the very middle. Not too far out because later I'm going to blend a little bit more. That's actually pretty already the way it is. not too bad, but we'll see about the blendability in just a second. So we're gonna go into the fuchsia, and before I forget, I have to change this little pad. I never do that really. I'm not that picky, guys, but you're supposed to. So there's that. Ooh. It sucks up on one side a lot better. I think that means the pad is saturated in some areas more than others, because if I turn it, it gets more color. But let's start out here, and I'm doing this kind of softly because, like I said, I have no idea what this looks like. Okay, I did it soft, and now I'm going to push in a little bit more. As you can see, I got a lot in this area, and you can still see that. So maybe try to blend a little more out. Okay, that's the pink, and then we need to do a purple. Oh my gosh. And what I do with my other blending tool, let me go grab that real quick. Sorry about that. Let me get the purple. And I believe this was it. Yes. So anyway, if you're going to do this and use the blending solution, you just dab this into your mat, your glass mat, so that you can get some of the color off. And then get a little tiny bit of that glycerin going there. You know what, with this one I'm doing this wrong. I should have started off the edge. So at this last part you can kind of come in off the edges just like you normally do when you distress anything. And then we'll blend it in just a minute, but you can come in off the edge. Right now as it is, as far as blending, I don't see it being that amazing, but especially when they're like, oh, you can blend it so well, but you need, you know, glycerin. It's like, well, I think anything probably blends better if you use glycerin, right? Look at that. It's kind of, I don't know. How come whenever Sarah does this, it's just beautiful and blended so well. But anyway, I'm going to keep working on this, okay, guys, because I'm going to get this blended. So I'm going to keep working, and I'll probably switch out back to the pink one a little bit. Get that pink back in here, and then go back into the yellow and give it another swirl in the middle. Okay, I'll be right back. Guys, I think that's the best I can get it, and I basically had to just come in and put more color in and really push. So I'm finishing off with my yellow here. Maybe I'll go back with the pink just for a second and just give it another swirl around here. But that's as good as I can get it, so hopefully, I mean, if that tells you something, I don't know, but that's what I got. And what I'm going to do is try and flick a little bit of water. Actually, before I do that, let's just do some of this. Oh, this is funny. I wanted to tell you guys this AliExpress thing, when I put the water in it, it screws backwards. So right now I'm unscrewing it, which is counterintuitive, so I had to screw it in the opposite direction. So if you get these and you're like, what the heck, this thing's not closing, it's because you have to do a different direction. And the water is already coming out, and that's good. Very fine. I had to squeeze it really hard. So what you can do with this stuff is lift color out, which is kind of cool. So hopefully what I'm going to do is go into her little wings to make them a little bit softer. Right in here. You know what's funny? This paper is sucking it right up because it's not watercolor paper. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pull it out as soon as I do it, because otherwise it's just going right into the paper. You're supposed to give it a minute to kind of soak in, but this paper is not going to let me do that. But it is bleaching it out a little bit. So you can make her wings look a little more gossamer that way. Which is kind of a bummer because of this paper. Because the other thing you can do is also just get water going on here. Ooh, this water has sparkles. But anyway, just kind of splash water wherever. Obviously maybe thinner than that. And then give it a second to kind of react, and then suck it up. And it gets like a cool little background for you. Hopefully you can see that. So pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't super easy to blend, but it was blendable. I'm not the best at doing that anyway. That's probably like the second or third time I've ever done that. And then maybe if you use the glycerin, it works better. But this is actually really still pretty. So I will put this to the side. That was the Water Reactive Harmony inks, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp off a few things so that we can use the color pencils, the water pencils, and the aqua pencils. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the Aqua Spectrum Noir markers. This is the Love Colors of Love. It was on clearance, and so I only have a green and like reds in here. So I'm hoping I can still color some of this and it'll be cute, but let's see. Oh, I wonder if I can mix my own brown. I'm not real good at that, but maybe red and the green might make brown for me. But okay, so what I'm gonna do is just take some of this and basically just lay it down. You can color right on here and then spread it with water. But for right now, I'm just gonna lay down some of the green there. And I think that's what I'll do. I'll mix the red and the green and see if I can't get a brown. So I'm gonna lay down some more green and a little bit of red. We'll see what happens. And I'm gonna take my little watercolor water brush and pick up some of that green and give me a little bit of a squeeze. It might be a little bit too diluted, but oh, so cute. Again, this is not watercolor paper, so it's kind of just wanting to suck it right up. And I'm totally coloring outside the lines today. What is up? That's okay. So let's say that was your green. Oh, I didn't realize there was a little flower I can paint. So I'll put down some pink. And you can build up your color. You always build up instead of taking away, right? So cute. So these work really well, as you can see. The color's pretty good. I'm not doing this one too wet like I did the green, so it is a little more saturated, and I would need more than that, so pretty good. I would just keep coloring. I'll probably do that off screen, off camera, because it's taking a long time. And you can put the darker colors fading into a wash into the middle to create some shading, basically. This paper's holding up pretty good, actually, for not being watercolor paper. I'm not scrubbing it, though, so it gets all pilly or whatever. So there's that. And let's see if we can make a brown color. I don't know. Ooh. I'm not much of a colorist, okay? I have no idea. But that is really nice. Wow. Alright. So those work and blend pretty well. And you saw me blend that right there in real time there. How cute is that? And maybe some right here in that little window. Alright, well those work pretty well. Nice. Okay, moving on. We will next, I stamped all of these in the VersaFine, just so you know. So next I'm going to use the watercolor pencils and I'll be right back. Okay, so in these Aqua Blend, like I said, I have the Vivid Hues and I have Earth Tones. So maybe I'll use Vivid Hues for the little flower part on top, and then we'll go into the Earth Tones for the little wood house. I also want to mention with those aqua tints, like I said, well, I did mention it, but you can go right into your project with the marker. Just, you know, when you're going to spread out the color, no, it's going to spread. I just used it for the little window and it colored in right perfectly. And if I want to put water and dilute that, you can do that. Okay, let's get a pink. Really nice trays. They sell them in, I think, 12s at a time, or a big set of all of them, basically. And some green, and I'm not gonna, well, maybe I'll do a little bit of yellows to see if we can mix those colors. Like a lighter green. Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully you guys haven't gone away on me yet. So I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow kind of like in this outer part. Does that make sense? And then I'm gonna take the green and just really just lay down. They go on really nicely, but I feel it feels pretty nice. And you don't have to try to blend those because you're going to blend it with your color, of course. Maybe I should go with a different pink too. I only have two bright pinks. There's no other in the earth tones. So let's get this dark one, a darker color. I'm just going to put it wherever it's darker on here. That little shading. That's nice about these stamps. It already has the shading where you would want it to be, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and go with that lighter pink all around there. You don't have to color the whole thing perfectly because it'll start spreading with the water, but so there's that. And then I'll grab the brown when I'm ready for it, but for right now I'm just going to show you how to move this around. So again, get this a little bit wet, get it going. And let's see how easily these things, the color starts moving or it blends. But again, this is not watercolor paper, so I can't blame it too much. It looks pretty good. I don't know if you can see the way that yellow is blending in. You can give it a little more. That's so cute. I think you'll see it more when I do this pink. If you want to control it, obviously you don't want puddles of water like I just did there, but look at that. I'm going to wipe that off so that pink. So pretty. So let's go from the light into the dark. How about that instead of what I was doing, dark into the light. The light over this way. Oh, this is a very soft, like sweet pea color. Hopefully you can see that. Try to obliterate that line a little bit more because it's kind of harsh. Really cool. These are harder to work with because, you know, I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, if you're going to go in here, again, not watercolor paper. But that's pretty cute. I'll probably finish that brown off camera. And then we'll do the color blend pencils, which are just the regular pencils. And then we'll do another one with the Sheena sparkle pens, just maybe laying down some color and see how that works. I really like these watercolors. This one, I don't know. But again, if I was using watercolor paper, maybe I would like it better because this is just a prettier blend than what I did here. But that's, again, I think that's me. Anyway, so this last one on this page, we're going to do the Color Blend Spectrum Noir pencils. There's florals, but I'm going to try and pick colors that'll work. And they're lovely, as you can see, well packaged. And you just sharpen them like you sharpen anything else, but I think this kit does come with a little, like, well, actually that's sharpeners for the stubs, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, oh my gosh, there's so many colors. Okay. There's hardly any greens, though. That's kind of odd for a floral set, but okay. Let's use this. They're both basically yellow, in my opinion. I don't know. And these are just color pencils, so you are definitely going to just work with these, and if you want to work the color in, you have to kind of blend it, but at the same time, that's what the Gamsol is for, right? So I'm just gonna, such a small area, I probably don't even need the Gamsol. But there's that. Again, no greens, that's crazy. I didn't even notice that. I probably have to go back and buy something that has greens in it. And for this last one, let's just make it completely different. Let's say it's gonna be like a little pink color. Try to stay in the lines, Vianney. Sorry if I'm making the tripod move. And you want to lay down a pretty good amount of color. Basically what the Gamsol is going to do is break down the wax that's in these. Supposedly these blend anyway pretty well without Gamsol, but we will see. So now I'm going to use this purple. And just this outer edge. And it does blend pretty good. I can feel that little waxiness, kind of the one color binding to the next. I mean, if I was really to work on this, I could probably get it blended just on its own. But I'm going to try and use this stuff. So they say to pour this into another bottle because you don't want too much when you go to dip it. So I'm just going to be really careful because this is just like a quick little demonstration. I'm going to grab the smallest little nub brush from their, or nub pen, stub pen, whatever you want to call it, from their kit. So this has this guy so you can file them. Once it's all saturated, you just file it off. But anyway, I'm going to barely touch it. This is just get very small amount. And suppose this is going to start breaking down. Oh, it does. That is much nicer. It's probably not very perceptible. Let me get a little bit closer so you guys can see kind of what's going on because it's very... Okay, so hopefully you can kind of see the lines and the streaks there. And once I get this Gamsol on here, it just like obliterates that and it makes it look like I colored it in beautifully to begin with. Look at that. I'll try to hold this up compared to the other side where it's not blended yet. Can you see that? How nice that is? And this has the pencil marks. That's really pretty. Okay, well, I like these. But like I said, it felt like you could probably blend them anyway. Without the Gamsol, you just have to do some better work than I did. But that's really nice. And the paper is holding up really well to this, so that's good. I'm going to use the other side just to kind of do this, but this is basically, I mean, It's already blended as it is, nothing, no big deal here. I need to find me, it doesn't even have a blue to blend with. That's funny. Okay, well I'll do the brown bottom and then we will get some Sheena and the metallic wax going. Okay, so next thing is the Sheena sparkle pens, or any sparkle pens. Sheena just has her certain colors. And these guys, you have to get them ready. I'm just gonna pick out a few colors, doesn't matter, but see how they have like this big space here? Basically, you're gonna open it up. You're gonna remove this ring. And you're gonna squeeze it back shut. And that's gonna pop it and get it going. I probably could have done the mixing before that, but that's okay. So screw that all the way down. And you wanna shake it too because it has little bits in there. They're gonna just be sitting wherever it was last time. You know what I'm saying? Like they just collect, basically. Open that up, and then we're gonna have to squeeze this. It says push until the color starts coming up, which I don't really care because I'm just gonna do a color wash anyway. But you can use these to color. You can use these for a background like this. Oh, that's so pretty. And you want to get it really juicy. Okay, so look at that. I don't know if you can see the sparkle in there, but you can probably see it on my page. And then you store them, I'm assuming upright. I don't know, because I feel like if they were laying down, they would make a mess, but who knows. So I'm going to do the same thing with the blue. And then I'll do the same thing with the purple. And I'll come right back. Okay, I'm just going to get these guys ready. Okay, they're both shooken up and ready. And again, I'm just going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You can kind of see the color coming through the nib area. I don't know if you can see that. But it's already falling down. Ooh, that one's really pretty. My goodness. Okay, so I put that. I got it all over. And they were saying that like whenever you have this, like this little area I have back here, pick it up with another piece of paper so you can kind of play with it and it'll still give you another mat for like another picture for later or design. Okay, so that's good. I don't see the blending so much, as you can see those two, but what happens is you use a water brush or something like that, you can blend those in. I'm kind of afraid to do that right now, but I do have some water on this brush and let's see what happens. These don't seem to move as much as the other. There we go. Again, this is not watercolor paper, so that could probably have something to do with it. You can also just squirt this. Like I said, you can use it to just color your designs, the stamped image or whatever. I don't see that this is moving that great, so that's not my favorite technique. But it's there. Maybe we can stamp over it, do some other stuff. I don't know. Again, not watercolor paper, so this paper just wants to suck up the water instead of letting the product move. Hopefully you can kind of see that. I don't know. I'm just going to let this go all over. The sparkle's moving, I can see that. Like it's all over this paper. Not my favorite technique. I'm going to put this to the side to let it dry, and I'll show you one other technique that you can do with the same thing. It's kind of a similar effect, but it's probably going to be prettier. Sorry, this is all crooked. It drives me nuts. Okay. What do I use? Pink, blue, and this one here. Just put some of this down. And then I'm going to take my little spritzer, if I could find it. And we're going to spray that with water. And then I'll just take a piece of paper. You can swirl a little more if you want, but I'm just going to take a piece of paper and just kind of move it on here. Like I said, this thing just wants to suck up the water. It's so weird. But look, that's much prettier, isn't it? And then you can add more sparkle. You can remove some, but it's mostly that you're going to add more sparkle. So just kind of dip that there. Dip this over here. and then let that dry, and you can use that as a background. So that's much prettier. You can add more water and have another more diluted. Just kind of let that sit there. So you don't have to waste any of this. See, that one's a little more diluted, maybe for like an Easter background, something like that. And you can keep doing it. I'm not going to keep doing it, but so pretty. So definitely just soak up all that goodness so you don't waste it. And I will wipe this away. And then, like I said, you can use it just like the Spectrum Noirs to color with, okay? Now, one last thing I want to show you is these metallic waxes, and let me get that going. The other day I did a review of the 3D embossing folder, so I'm just going to use this to show you how to use some of this metallic wax. So I have this purple, cobalt, and of course dark pink, which is probably what I'll use. So this is just an embossed design already, and it's probably better to get a prettier design. This one's just kind of basic, but oh, you know what I'll do? If you guys remember, I did it backwards, the embossing on this one. Oopsie, where is it? Oh my gosh, where is the thing? Here it is. And I was like, oh, bummer, because I did it on the wrong side. So this will be prettier, because this is pink. Okay, so you're just going to basically dip your finger in here very gently, like that is too much already. Tap, 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 tap most of it off. And just rub it on here ever so slightly. And I'm not even dipping back into the tub right now. I'm dipping this little stuff that's on the side. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. And once it starts drying out like it's doing right now, I'll get a little bit more. And you know what I'll probably do for you guys? I'll go ahead and dip into the purple one to do a mix of pink and then maybe purple down this middle side. It has a really nice consistency. It feels pretty cool. Too bad those sparkle pens got sparkle all over my mat. Like I can't clean it up. I guess I'm gonna have to give it a good washing. But let me get that purple again. Oy. Tap, 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 tap. And I'm gonna gently go over this middle section here. You have to have a really light touch. And there definitely is such thing as too much of this stuff. So like you have to be very careful, I guess. Instead of getting like a big old, just a smudge of it somewhere, you know, you kind of have to just be gentle with it. Like I'm probably getting a little bit heavier now just because I want to get through it. But if you take your time, Sarah always said that because on the HSN, you know, she has to kind of rush through things. And she's like, if you take your time, it'll be much nicer. So pretty. Okay, and then I'll do the other side with the pink at the end, just so you can kind of have a feeling for that. It's very cool. It's a cool medium. Okay, so the last thing I was going to do is just like stamp over this and maybe stamp over some of the other backgrounds we made, but this is not my favorite. This is the metallic ink, but you know, if you're going to do the whole paper or with a watercolor paper, I think it would be much better. This came out prettier than I thought, but it did, again, not watercolor paper. Look how much lighter it's getting as time goes by with the areas that I leached the water back out of or the color back out of. So I have pictures for you guys, and hopefully, you know, it gives you an idea of some of their products. This is probably my least favorite stuff, the watercolor pencil. But, you know, maybe you just have to give it a better try. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye now. I just wanted to say to save that silver one, because that was basically a wash, so maybe it's not supposed to move that much because the way I laid it down. But if you just flick it, all I did was use a paintbrush and flicked it, and then I sprayed it with my water. It is moving around quite a bit, the Spectrum metallic ink. So this is gold, just to kind of go with that silver, and then I'll probably put some kind of stamp, and we'll see what it looks like. But just wanted to follow up with you guys just in case you are interested in it and you think it might still be a cool thing to check out. Like right there, I'm going to try to spray that and see how it just became much cooler. So yeah, I mean, it does move. You just got to really hit it when you flick it like that if you want that to spread. If you're doing a wash, it might not move as much. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye now.